Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa, and this is your youthful and educational channel where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa, and we aim to inspire the current generation of leaders in Africa to dream big and hope deeply. Have you always wanted to start your own organization, your own foundation, your own initiative as a young person? Are you struggling to find out exactly how to do that? I did a video on how to start your own organization, how to work in the community. So do check out that video. This video will specifically focus on the truth about running that organization or foundation or initiative that you will start on your own. So let's get into the video. You may constantly find yourself comparing yourself to other people, other young people your age who've started their own organizations. Sometimes you're like, hey, that person started an organization about menstrual hygiene. Someone else started an organization about food and security. Someone else started an organization about mental health. And maybe you started an organization about education. And you start doubting the impact of your work. You start doubting whether you've gone into the right direction. And I want you to know that you always have to look at your passion. What are you passionate about? For example, Cynthia Untamed is passionate about citizenship education, education for all. That's what I'm passionate about. And whenever I'm tempted to compare myself, I always look back to who am I? What am I passionate about? What do I want to do and why am I doing it? When you constantly remind yourself of who you are, you will compare yourself less and less. And if you start an organization on a particular field just because your friend did the same, just because you've seen somebody else starting that initiative and it's working for them, they're getting funding, everything is going well, and you start an organization because of those reasons, let me tell you, that organization will not last for long. And that's why you find people saying, oh, now I no longer know where the direction of where my organization is heading to. I've begun questioning it. I want to reevaluate and see where I'm going. Not to say that reevaluating is a bad thing, but always remember your core. Always remember, why did I start this? And that way you won't compare yourself to other people. Discouragement. Sometimes people will discourage you. They'll tell you, oh, you're not making an impact. Sometimes they'll tell you, then what will you do with it? They'll ask you, how much money are you gaining from it? How famous are you right now? How many followers have you gained on Instagram because of this organization? You will be discouraged many times because of many reasons. Remember my first point. Don't compare. Don't do that. And always remember your core. Whenever people discourage you or when they laugh at you, trust me, when you remember who you are, you'll keep going. I've also done a video on moving in silence. And the best way to avoid discouragement is also to move in silence. When you're starting that organization, you're writing that proposal, just talk to the relevant people. Don't go announcing, oh, I'm starting this. Let me tell you, the more you do that, the more people have room to discourage you. There are times you will be taken advantage of or you will be lied to. So I know when you're starting an organization as a young person, you're passionate, you're energetic, all that. And sometimes people will tell you, let me come and work for your organization. And then you realize they were only there so that they could connect to a certain person that you know. Maybe they're just there to, kind of get all your secrets and then go start something similar. It happens, by the way, it happens a lot that sometimes you work with somebody, they get all your business secrets. And I know a lot of young people who start these organizations do not sign contracts where they say that you cannot talk about this particular business model or this organization model for a number of years or within this locality. I know young people do not sign such things. So they will come, learn all your secrets. The next thing you know, 1 year later, they've started something similar to you. And also remember, there's nothing new under the sun. But always be careful that people will not just come to you to take advantage of you. Or sometimes the organizations now will start succeeding, you'll start getting funding, more volunteers, people will know you more, you'll be called to speak in panels, travels, and then suddenly you have 1,000 friends. Be careful who your friends are. Always remember the people who knew outside of that organization, because such people tend to remain true. Not everyone, but some of them will remain true because they know you, they know who you are outside of that organization, and they will always keep you in check. Lack of funding. Lack of funding is a very common problem, and let me tell you, you will never have enough resources. If you decide to be feeding children, let me tell you, there will always be hungry children, that is for sure. Children are born every day, that is for sure. So sometimes you will lack funding to actually support your work. And let me tell you, a lot of organizations give up at this point. But you have to be very consistent. You always have to remember, in the long run, this is what I wanted to do. What I have seen other people doing, other young people doing, is trying to adopt a social enterprise model. A social enterprise model is basically you're solving a social problem, whether it's food, hunger, lack of security, problems in the justice system, but you're also adopting an entrepreneurial model where you are making some little bit of money. So there's someone from an organization who feeds children, and he was telling me how in his organization they've also started relying on training people to make bangles, baskets, such things, and then they sell them. So when that money comes, at least they're able to complement some of their admin expenses. So try and find a way where you can solve a problem and also make money. Another way, for example, in the energy sector, there's a lot of waste in our environment. There's that challenge, a very big challenge. You'll find that, yes, young people want their environment to be clean, but what they do is they take the waste, then they recycle it and make renewable energy. When they sell it, they make money, and that way that business is able to fund itself, and that way they're solving a problem and making money at the same time. So look at that kind of way and you'll be able to sort of survive. Lack of exposure is also another challenge that you may face when you start your organization. People will not know who you are, and lack of exposure also means that it's difficult for you to access funding. It's difficult for you to be invited to events where you can showcase your work, maybe speak in a panel, appear in a newspaper. That exposure is just so important for your organization. Trust me, sometimes it makes a very big difference. You could be doing a lot of work on the ground, but you're not exposed to the right people. Keyword here is exposure. Exposure is not being famous. Exposure is being known by the right people. Are you known by the right donors? Are you known by the right businesses? Are you known by the right volunteers? You know, that is what I mean by exposure. So when you're starting out, exposure is very difficult, but please do not get discouraged. You build it over time. Try and participate in Twitter chats. I've also done a video on how you can be featured on a newspaper. Make sure you check it out. Try and attend local events where you can network with people and just be known by the right people. And also post your work on social media, because Google does a lot of things. When I Google something and it appears on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere, it really does help, because you're building that credibility and you're also building a brand for your organization. Building trust is also another challenge that young people face, or young organizations face. Sometimes when you apply for funding, or you want to attend a conference, or you're looking for something to speak, people don't want to listen to you. They may not pay attention to you because you've not built that trust. And trust is earned. It could be earned over a year, it could be earned over 10 years or 20 years, but just make sure you're consistent with the work that you do. Make sure you're honest in your work. When you're raising money, when you say you're raising 50 shillings for a packet of pads and you get 10,000, use that 10,000 to buy the pads. Don't use 5,000 to buy pads and 5,000 for your pocket money. Do not do that. Do not do that, because that way you will lose trust with the people who really are invested in your organization, but when they find out, they will not really like you, and therefore they're going to leave you, and you will never have the trust with the community. Getting into the wrong partnerships are very common challenge. When you're starting an organization, or when your organization begins to grow over a period of time, you've built that trust, you've gotten funding, people will start approaching you. Oh, I want to partner with you. I see we have similar interests. Can I come to your organization? Can we partner? And when you partner, you come to realize this person was just partnering with you to ride on your name, so that when they go to meetings, when they go to spaces, they can say they're partnering with X, Y, and Z organization. They're partnering with so and so. They're riding on your name. And once they're done, trust me, they will leave you. Sometimes they will partner with you and then you realize, oh, this person's intentions were actually not good. Or maybe they will come, partner with you, steal funding, all that. You lose trust with your stakeholders and you're left in the dumpster, if that's the word to use. So be careful about the partnerships that you get involved with. I know Sustainable Development Goals 17 is talking about partnerships for development, but just be very careful about the partnerships that you get involved with when you start your own organization. In the end, you want to be very intentional with the work that you do. You want to have an impact. And on that note, as you look to improve your work, running your organization, running your foundation, understand the basics of advocacy, do check out the UNICEF Youth Advocacy Guide that was designed by young people across the world to enable them to be good advocates in the community, start their own organizations, get involved in policy change. Check it out. You can find it on the UNICEF website, unicef.org, or you can also check it out on the Voices of Youth website, which is also run by UNICEF. You can download it. There is a toolkit guide. You can print it and use it in your community. It's very colorful and very simple to use. Thank you for staying tuned to the end of this video. This is Cynthia Untamed, your youthful and educational channel where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa. Do tell a friend to tell a friend about Cynthia Untamed and check out more of my videos and learn how to be a leader and build this continent of Africa. Until next time, see you.